What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pregame Live, Eagles Commanders Edition. Keys to victory, standout stars, stats, predictions, best bets, that and much, much more when we are back in 30 seconds.
Holding, gets around in front. And Philadelphia has it.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy Eagles game day. We are live here on DSM Media's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter channel. Guys, if you're new to the channel, head on over to @DSM_media on Twitter. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. While you're on the page, check out the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive on today's show, head on over to the YouTube channel specifically. That's where we can pull up your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, whatever. My man James in the building. What's going on? Harvey just says Washington. Okay.
No.
Hot start. No.
To know for me.
I'm your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter @DylanJD98. And we got the full panel of DSM pregame live here. My man Philly's back from vacation, the host of Trending in the AM and Fairway to Heaven here on DSM Media. My man Scotty, my co-host on Turf Talk and the host of Scotty Talks NBA. Check them out on Twitter as well. Fellas, happy Eagles game day.
I'm pumped, man. It's not the same as being in Mexico with the ocean, right underneath the TV like last week.
Sure. It's not as relaxing and glamorous, Phil.
This'll do. I have to have a long sleeve shirt on and a hoodie on now. It was 90 degrees literally 3 days ago for me.
First of all, I'm sorry. The Philadelphia Delco area is not as glamorous as Cancun was for you, Phil. But I'll tell you this: it's football weather. It's football weather, so appreciate it for what it is. That's what it is. When you go outside and you can taste the air, that's when you know it's football season.
I could taste
Scotty, long time.
I was able to taste the salt in the air.
There you go, Scotty. Long time no talk, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
It's been a while. At least this time you have a beer in your hand.
Yeah. I got done spinning, so I'm not at risk of drinking and driving anymore.
There you go.
So I can indulge now. But yeah, man, I'm happy to see you back, Phil. I hope you enjoyed the time. And what better experience than to watch the Vikings get scolded out of the link again.
There you go. Skull, baby.
So on Sunday night last week, the bar there at the resort we were at, where they were showing the games, had literally 20 people dressed in Packers and Bears jerseys.
Interesting.
So I'm like, all right, there's a lot of sports fans.
Oh.
So Eagles Monday night game comes on. There was not one Eagles jersey, not one Vikings jersey, not one Bills jersey. There was not one Titan. Nobody from the two Monday night games outside of me was there to watch it. So it was great. It was a fun, game and great experience watching it down there. But I was kind of disappointed nobody was into the game with me.
Yeah, nobody else.
Watching it by myself and stuff like that.
Well, we all were here, Phil. So let's get into today's game. We got the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Washington to take on the 1-1 Washington Commanders. Come on, guys. It's not the return. The return comes later in the season for Carson. But the Eagles and Carson Wentz battle head-to-head for the first time since his, we can call it ugly, departure here in Philadelphia. But before we get into what the defense can do to Carson to disrupt things, will he turn the ball over, etc., I need to start with the offensive side of the ball here for you guys. Because to me, now, we all watched what Jalen Hurts was able to do on Monday Night Football and the game that he had. And it answered a lot of questions for the most part. Now what it comes down to, for me at least, is consistency. Can you start to stack that kind of game? And no, I'm not talking 80% completion percentage. I'm not talking 300-plus passing yards. I'm not talking anything like that. But can you start to stack wins? Can you start to stack impressive quarterback play? And that is the number one thing I'm looking for. Sure, we're going to talk about Jonathan Gannon and that defense. Can they not lay an egg after having an impressive performance? But to me, it all comes down to our hopefully future franchise quarterback. And can he come out division rival on the road after his best performance? Yes, it's his best performance as the Eagles starting quarterback. Can he stack a positive day? Phil, do you think Jalen Hurts shows up today?
Absolutely. First off, to address the way you're saying it on the road in Washington, let's be honest, this is going to be a borderline home game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's going to be tens of thousands of Eagles. We are going to drown out the Commander fans, the commies.
I hope so.
They will be drowned out of the game. Okay, so this is going to be like a 9th home game or 10th. I don't know how many home games they got this year, but it's Hurts not only can stack games and come out and show today, he will. There's literally zero doubt in my mind. It's not like we're going up against a really, really great team, and I'm not trying to talk down on Washington, but Washington has a lot of issues coming in this game. They got injuries on their defense. They got injuries on their offense. Out. So exactly. So there's so many things that are check marking in the favor of the Eagles that there's zero doubt that Hurts can come out and play well today. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind.
Scotty, thoughts? Does he not only show up, but does he show out like he did on Monday night against the Vikings?
I think this is for me and what I'm thinking in this game. I think this is more of a game where Jalen Hurts just doesn't do too much. And what I mean by that, and to be fair, he's been doing everything that he's supposed to throughout this season so far. But he did. He had one of the best games, if not the best game of his NFL career last week on primetime, on Monday Night Football, literally. Right. And so I just don't want him to get ahead of himself. And I don't think he is the type of guy to do that. I'll be quite honest with you. We've talked about this back and forth. Me and Dylan talked about it the other day. After seeing Hurts put together a performance like that, we already know the intangibles that he possesses, and that's getting better, making sure he's better than he was last week, better than he was last season. So, I'm not super worried about it, but it is just something. He's a young quarterback. Just don't get ahead of yourself. Mm-hmm. And so with that, I think Miles Sanders comes into play a little bit more in this game. And I am, kind of leaning towards Miles Sanders in this game. After his first two performances, his first two outings, he's 5.7 yards per carry on this, or 5.9 yards per carry, which is 7th in the NFL right now. Feed Miles Sanders, but you don't have to make it imbalanced. I don't mean it that way. I just mean you can lean to Miles Sanders. Maybe instead of 15 to 17 carries, maybe it's 19 carries today for Miles Sanders, and he has a big game. Get him involved in the passing offense. But yeah, as far as Hurts, just don't get too ahead of yourself. But I have full trust that he won't do that, and I have full trust that he's going to take care of business today.
Well, I think the one big thing that we talked about on Thursday night on Turf Talk, kind of recapping this game, was, Scotty, the question's no longer can he make these throws? Can he read this zone? But yeah, clearly he can. He's capable of doing so. You talked about the intangibles, knowing he's gonna put in the work and get better week to week, knowing how he even understands. Now, again, it's just talk, it's locker room, it's leadership, but understanding that you left food on the table. That's they haven't played to the standard they hold themselves accountable to, right? So knowing all of that, you have to expect him to get better week in and week out. But my thing, here's what I'll look at, right? Talking about consistency, forget the numbers, forget the big plays downfield. What did we say the other night, Scotty? He was able to pick apart his zone on Monday. And last year, we all knew he could beat man coverage because defenders' backs are turned towards the backfield. He can make plays with his legs, etc. He couldn't beat a zone last year. And he tore one up, and he was making throws across the middle of the field in tight windows he probably doesn't attempt last season. So the confidence, the trust in his guys is going up every week. So today, it's not about the numbers. It's not, like you said, it's just not doing too much. Continue to show me you can read a zone pre-snap, deliver a ball in a tight window, and come away with a win. That's the most important thing for Jalen Hurts. Don't 3 steps forward on Monday night. Don't take a step backwards today. That's the only thing I'm looking for.
Yeah. See, and a really key thing, and I talked about it Thursday, my first show back, was they didn't even scratch the surface on Monday night. I know everyone wants to talk about how great Monday night was, but how many points they scored in the second half on offense? None. Yeah. Did Jalen Hurts, that interception that Jalen Hurts threw in the game?
Yeah, I mean
it was a bad interception. So he could still, and we talk about his intangibles, he could still be better from what we saw on Monday night. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see, even if we're up 24-0, say at some point, which I don't think it'll get to that point or anything like that.
Yeah.
I want to see him continue to push forward. I don't want to see them settle and be like, all right, we're good.
Take their foot off the gas.
We used to see that all the time with Doug Peterson and Andy Reid and stuff like that, where, they'd be up, they'd start running the ball, play very conservative, and then all of a sudden the opponent would be right back in the game. I want to see Jalen Hurts continue to play full quarters versus 2 or 3, stellar quarters.
Well, it's like the Denver game last year, right? Like that first half was at that point his best half of his career. And then I think he attempted 3 or 4 passes in the second half with a lead. And that's something you're not looking for. Now, no, if they're up by 2-3 possessions in late in the third quarter, into the fourth quarter, am I looking for them to continue to go pass? Absolutely not. Because what will we be doing? Crushing Nick Sirianni for the play calling. But it should still be a healthy balance to get, like you said, Phil, 4 full quarters is incredibly important going forward.
And I think
obviously, go ahead.
I was just gonna say just about what you're what you're saying there is, and kind of what I'm saying too is like keep it balanced. We don't have to fall in love with the pass after a 300-yard passing game. You know what I mean? You just have to pick. It's all about picking spots. It's not really about his yardage when it comes to Hurts. And I guess my thinking with Miles Sanders is all the attention is on Hurts right now. Right, like after that Monday night showing, he torched the Vikings. So what is the Washington Commanders, the Commandos, the Commies? What are they going to do? What are they going to do other than just keep their eyes completely on Jalen Hurts? And I think that makes room for Miles Sanders in the running game. But I also agree you do have to keep it balanced because looking at these numbers, right? The Eagles lead the league in explosive plays this season with 28. That's 16-yard passes and 10-yard runs. So they have 28 big plays in this season. Commanders gave up 6 explosive plays against Detroit last week. As Phil mentioned, this is a beat up. This is a demented, a depreciated Washington defense that we're going up against today. So there will be opportunities for those big plays. It is just about picking those spots nonetheless.
I agree. So before we move on to the defensive side of the ball, we've talked about Jalen Hurts. Scotty, you've mentioned Miles Sanders, how this could be a big day for him. Phil, give me one guy in this court. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Quez. Give me a guy you're looking for to have a standout day today offensively.
I mean, I could basically take a dart and throw it, and whichever one it could be. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you got to think Dallas Goedert is going to get a score here eventually. So I'm rolling in a lot of my.
Yeah, I think any of them, right?
Yeah, you can pick any. It's got to be Dallas Goedert to me, out of the receiving core that has the bigger game, the bigger impact. Because, A.J. Brown might have 8 or 9 catches, but Dallas Goedert will be the one that gets in the end zone or makes that big 40-yard play downfield. Last week, Quez Watkins had the big touchdown. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. But this week, it's going to be Dallas Goedert, in my opinion.
Scotty, anybody in the receiving core. I agree, but it's crazy, right? Like A.J. Brown hasn't gotten one yet. Devontae Smith doesn't have one yet. So it's like one of these dudes is going to find the end zone at some point in time, if not multiple of them. Like, the first 2 weeks we've seen a lot of Jalen Hurts. All 3 running backs scored in week 1. At some point or another, you're going to see a 3 passing TD type of performance from him. It could be today. But with that being said, there's another guy, there's another aspect to this game that has to start stacking consistency. It is a step in the right direction. By no means, Phil, I heard you talk about it on Friday's Trending. By no means should anybody just be like, oh, well, this is Jonathan Gannon. I'm bought in. No means. It's a step in the right direction. It was a very impressive performance by him and his defense. Stacking positive days today. Getting after a quarterback who tries to do too much 99% of the time, going against his old team, that's ingrained in his DNA. At some point or another, I do think Carson Wentz turns the ball over today, even though my thoughts on him, guys, how I don't think he deserves all the criticism from a talent perspective that people give him, but I think he turns the ball over today. Scotty, I'll throw this to you first. We talked about with Minnesota. Is it Justin Jefferson? Is it the run game? Is it pressure? What do the Eagles defensively need to do against the Commandos today?
I was muted. Sorry. As far as what the defense needs to do today, you know where I stand with Carson Wentz. I do think he makes boneheaded plays sometimes, but he is ultimately a guy that can play some good quarterback in the NFL.
He can push the ball down the field, man.
He can push the ball down the field. He has all the arm talent that you could ask for in a quarterback. It's just the decision making, which leads me to my first point. Similar to what you did with Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football, you have to go out there, first of all, shut down the run. There's no run, right? Once you shut down the run, you make them one-dimensional, and that's when your pass rushers get to go at it. And that's exactly what they have to do with Carson Wentz today. That doesn't mean I'm not sure I'm blitzing. I am going to throw some blitzes in there because Detroit had a hell of a time.
Disguise. Johnny.
You got to play your cards right nonetheless. But I think their offensive line is not that good. Our front four, we've talked about this over and over. They should be able to get home on him. Hassan Reddick. Like, I'm yelling it to the skies. Let's have a show today of Hassan Reddick. Maybe 2 sacks. Give me some action on Wentz.
Phil wants 3.
Give me 3. Give me 4. I don't care. give me something is what I'm asking. And the main thing I'll say, finish plays. Wentz, we know he's a guy who can stay on his feet. He can break tackles, extend plays, get him to the ground, finish plays. And finally, defense, dominate the line of scrimmage. That is what we should do every single game that we play this season, is dominate the line of scrimmage, and that's where it has to start. And I think that includes stopping the run and then ultimately getting to the quarterback. And let our DBs have a day again, right? It was really easy against the Vikings because we were getting to Kirk, and he was just throwing it up there for whoever. And I think Wentz has some of those similar tendencies whenever he's under fire.
So, Phil, it's interesting. Scotty brings up your boy Hassan Reddick, and Nick Sirianni earlier this week said he it's Nick, right? But he says he feels like Hassan Reddick's getting close to having a breakout type of game. What do the Eagles need to do? And I'll throw another wrench in here for you. We watched Darius Slay get assigned the task of following around Justin Jefferson last week. Should you see Darius Slay following around Terry McLaurin today?
Yeah, first on Hassan Reddick. Yeah, Reddick, I predicted, bold, I know, 18.5 sacks for him. It's not going to happen, 18.5 sacks now. He's already gone 2 games without a sack. But can he get 2 or 3? Look, Darius Slay has to cover Terry McLaurin, but this isn't the Minnesota Vikings. They got Curtis Samuel. They got Jonah Dotson. They got, Logan Thomas, Antonio Gibson. There's a lot of guys that need to be covered in the secondary. So you cannot be blitzing 5-6 guys at a time. Mm-hmm. You need just your front 4 and Hassan Reddick as part of that front 4, just getting pressure as a front so that you could drop guys. Curtis Samuel scares me. Darius Slay is going to lock down Terry McLaurin, no doubt about it. Well, will Bradbury be good enough for the challenge? Curtis Samuel's people forget how good he was in Carolina last year. He went to Washington, was hurt the entire year. Yeah. He's had a huge season so far, and he seems to have a really good connection with Carson Wentz. Logan Thomas got hurt last year. He was a rising, a late rising tight end last year.
Big body
tight end. Who is going to be shutting him down? TJ Edwards, Kazir White. Who? They're going to be undersized.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but still, he's still a little undersized to be really bodying up Logan Thomas. So you need to be able to get pressure with your front 4, with the Fletcher Coxes of the world, the Hassan Reddicks of the world. They have to be able to get home so that you could drop 5-6 guys back there to cover all the different weapons. We know Carson Wentz is not a zone in on one wide receiver only kind of guy. He spreads the ball around. Yeah. So you need to be able to get pressure with 4 guys so that the rest of the defense, whatever the scheme is that Gannon has today, can cover everybody else.
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly with both of you. And Scotty, I think your first point's very important. Stopping the run, because like you said, what you saw last week is Minnesota, not only did Minnesota get behind early in the game, on the scoreboard, but they had no success running the ball early and they kind of abandoned it. And if you listen, like you said, if you make Carson have to drop back and throw 40, 45, 46 times, there is going to be a mistake or holding on to the ball too long at some point in this game. And that just very well could be the difference maker within this game. But the biggest thing in like we said, he can move the ball down the field. You have to disguise. Now, whatever you did Monday night, it seemed to work. But heading into Monday night, I told you guys about the report that Chris Sims put out. Now, I know Chris Sims has some flaws in his opinions and his analysis. However, he did play in the NFL. He did play the position, and he was watching film and pointing out quite literally, like, Gannon shows you cover 2. The Eagles are running cover 2. He shows you cover 4. They're running cover 4. There's no disguise to his scheme up until whatever he changed last week. So against a guy like Carson Wentz, who can push the ball down the field with these weapons, disguise today. Throw a bunch of different looks at him pre-snap. Make him think one way. Do whatever you got to do to make him think twice about this decision he's going to make. That's when he holds on to the ball too long. That's when he doesn't have that pocket awareness. And then boom, here comes an Hassan Reddick. Here comes a TJ Edwards late on a blitz, something like that. So stopping the run and disguising for Jonathan Gannon is huge.
I really don't worry about the run, at least so far, if you're looking at it. I mean, Antonio Gibson, he's like an enigma to me. I don't
get the ball.
understand what they do. He leads the team in rushing so far, and I know it's only 2 games. He's got 86 yards rushing only through 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're averaging as a team only.
But doesn't this just spell like classic? Here he comes for 120.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they got to avoid that.
Their starting center's out. Is there other linemen? I know they're one of their other offensive linemen was
I think he's banged
really questionable or doubtful. I don't know if he's starting or not. That offensive line of the Washington Commanders is beat. So they're not going to be able to run the ball. They're not going to be able to pass protect. So this is that ripe game for more turnovers, for more sacks, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So, that does not concern me whatsoever.
Yeah. And you look at Wentz, and just to kind of prove your point, Phil, and prove your point as well, Dylan, Carson Wentz has thrown the ball 87 times between 2 games. That means he's up over 40 attempts a game. So they're airing it out. They're getting behind early, and they're having to come back, and they're not afraid to air it out with Carson Wentz. And he's had relatively good success, I would say,
statistically wise,
to that stage in the game. So, I would also, just to kind of, I guess, piggyback on you guys' point, don't fall asleep throughout the game either. Just because you have a lead, we saw it last week, a bunch of comebacks. And like you said,
week 1.
It feels like one of these games, right, where it's just going to be weird, right? It's NFC East, and the Eagles can't allow that, right? If they're the good team that we say they are, playoff contender, potentially Super Bowl contender, potentially the best team in the NFC, go out there and take care of business against Carson Wentz, who has struggled against the Jags. I shouldn't say struggled. The Washington Commanders have struggled against the Jags and then struggled against the Detroit Lions. Right. And I don't see why that trend wouldn't continue unless the Eagles step out of their element and try to be something they're not. And I hope that they wouldn't do that.
Well, here's a number for you, fellas. Teams that start the season off 3-0 make the postseason 76% of the time. Now, I know we're all not worried about the Eagles missing the playoffs, but it would getting off to a 3-0 start historically tells you are bound for the postseason, right? And with the way this division's playing out so far, obviously the Giants are undefeated as well, but through 2 weeks, so I don't understand. However, no, I agree with you guys. This is, I don't want to say it's not a barometer.
It's almost a
level of competition. So I'm trying to phrase this correctly. It's not a barometer in sense of competition. It's a barometer in sense of confidence that I'm going to have in this team.
How serious are you?
Yeah. Don't come out and lay a dud today.
Yeah.
Win the game. Listen, the 6.5 scares me, to be honest. I haven't laid it today. I put the money line in some things.
Gone down a touch to 6 now.
Has it? Okay, it's a division game on the road, even though Eagles fans are going to travel well. It scares me. I don't think it's going to be that simple. So if you have to come from behind, whatever you got to do, just come away with a win, and just don't, either side, whether it is Jonathan Gannon and his defense or Jalen Hurts, don't come back and look pedestrian again.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be pretty. There's no bonus points for style, but just don't come out either side. The defense, don't give up 36 points. Jalen Hurts, don't throw for 180 and a pick. You know what I mean? Marcus Epps, hey, man, he's been all over the field so far through 2 weeks.
Let's get it.
The Eagles defense, listen, to give them credit, even though they gave up 35 in week 1, the Eagles defense now has, 4 interceptions through the first 2 games? I mean, that didn't happen last year.
Washington only has 1 turnover on the season as well. So, it's so cliche to say you win the turnover battle, you win the game. But we're a team that's creating turnovers. They're a team that's not creating turnovers.
Right.
It's another check mark in the favor of the Eagles today, as long as the trend continues.
So, guys, something we like to do here on every pregame show. Before we get into, obviously, our predictions for the game, win, loss, etc., I'm sure we all have a couple plays on the board today for the Eagles, a couple same-game parlays. So here's what I'll throw this out. I do have a Dallas Goedert.
I did throw a couple bucks on Matt's, one from Turf Talk.
Tight end, I had to.
There you go.
I did not get away from that.
Just in case.
You had to, man. But so listen, I do have a Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown in an all TD score parlay that I have. I do have Eagles money line in a teaser that I have. But in terms of same game parlay, I've only placed one. And I got to say, I'm excited. There's no touchdown scores in this one. It's only 4 legs. It's only 4 legs. And boosted, it's plus 937. So thoughts. Dallas Goedert over 39.5 receiving yards.
Check
A.J. Brown over 59.5 receiving yards. This one was the one that pushed the odds a bit, but it was between 40 or 50. I went Devontae Smith over 49.5 receiving yards and Miles Sanders over 59.5 rushing yards. Boosted, it's plus 750. Boosted that I had, I don't know why I had a 25% boost, I forget, but it's plus 937 boosted.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't think that's that's pretty much every single one of them can easily happen for sure.
Yeah,
right. 60 yards is the max for somebody.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you just hope somebody doesn't come out like not get targeted. You know what I mean? Like a Sunday week 1 type thing. But it can happen with those weapons.
So yeah, I mean that's the only same game parlay I have for the Eagles right now. Now that could change in the next 15 minutes, but we'll see. But Scotty, what do you got for me?
I got a couple. So I got a plus 593. This is my Miles Sanders game. So I kind of went with game scripts here. I got Phillies money line, Eagles money
Ring the
line.
bell, brother.
I'm actually now going to go lay a bet on the Phillies money line.
Yeah. Right. So I got Eagles money line. I got Miles Sanders TD. I have Hurts over 199.5 passing yards, and I have Miles 60 plus rushing yards. That comes out to plus 593. So that's my Miles Sanders game script. My Goddard. This is kind of my Goddard game script here. I have plus 950, and I did throw in my go-to. And just so you guys know, I'm throwing something on a Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown every single week because why not? This guy gets in the end zone. It's ridiculous. I have Goddard anytime touchdown, Hurts anytime touchdown, Philadelphia money line, Hurts 199.5 plus again, AJ Brown 59.5 plus, Goddard 29.5 plus, and that comes out to plus 950. And then I have one kind of similar to what you put in, Dylan. It only comes out to plus 380 though, actually. So it is quite different, I guess. I have Eagles money line. I have AJ 59.5 plus, Hurts 224.5 plus, Goddard 29.5 plus, Smitty 29.5 plus. So probably where I lay low on Goddard in the Smitty. Lower, that's my safe one, along with just a Hurts anytime touchdown. I just have that by itself. But those are what I'm going with. And then I do have just a straight touchdown parlay. Hurts TD, Stephon Diggs TD, DeAndre Swift TD. So we'll see if that hits. That's at plus 854.
All right. So I do have a touchdown parlay too with Goddard in it. So I got a Dallas Goedert, a Juice Robinson, and a Jalen Waddle touchdown. With the boost, the 25% boost, that's plus 1942. But that's kind of
like that one.
Yeah, I'm high on that Jaguars Chargers game today. There's gonna be a lot of Jags scoring.
Who you got in that game?
I got the Jags win that game if Justin Herbert doesn't play. So
yeah,
sure.
Big if.
Yeah. So Goddard, Robinson, Waddle. It was plus 1553, but with the boost, it's plus 1942.
Okay.
So I really like that.
Throw that in myself, man.
Yeah, and then so I got my Eagles. I got a 7-leg parlay here. I went big. So I had a 50% profit boost. So it went from plus 16 to plus 2,400. So I got Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown. I got over 39.5 for Dallas Goedert receiving yards, over 59.5 for AJ Brown. I'm high on Curtis Samuel today. So over 49.5 yards for Curtis Samuel. And then I got both Hurts and Wentz over 224.5. And then the one leg part of it that I'm most concerned about is I took the 6.5 points in the Eagles. So minus 6.5 on the Eagles. But I'm predicting them to win by 10. So why not, throw that in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that is a great segue, my man. So Phil, score prediction for today before we wrap this one up.
Yeah. 31-21 Eagles. Said it on Friday's morning show. I am not concerned with this game whatsoever. This is the type of game that scares me the most. When I'm this confident going into a game, normally is when the script gets flipped and something bad happens. But I'm very confident that Hurts continues to stack good performances. This Eagles team is not even scratched the surface. 31-21. We're actually up bigger than 10. And then Carson Wentz won 10, 14 points late in the game to bring it even closer. I could see them up 31-10 at some point in this game.
Love it. Love it. Scotty.
Yes, sir. So I'm kind of on the same page as Phil here. I do agree with you, Dylan. I think it's a surprising spread, but at the same time, I expect the Eagles to cover. So with that being said, I do have it at 35-21. Kind of a similar game script as Phil
30
mentioned,
plus.
being up double digits. Carson Wentz, garbage time. I think he's the new Dak Prescott in that sense of garbage time yards, garbage time scores.
Little
And
Chad
I
there.
think he'll
Little
get
Chad
some
there,
of
right at the Cowboys.
he's the new Dak
controversy.
Prescott of the NFC East now.
There you go.
But no, I do think the Eagles get up big in this one, and no field goals today. No settling. We're getting straight touchdowns.
All right.
And I'm looking for the O line. Let's cut the penalties, guys. You know, maybe
Yeah.
one ineligible receiver downfield, right? Ineligible man down. Let's just try to strive for just one of those today.
Just one. Max of one.
Just to keep my sanity straight. But yeah,
That could be an
I'm rolling
over-under
with the
bet.
Eagles.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So listen,
Really?
we got birds win, and of course, right here you have a birds win. I think today that the Eagles show you that they are real. I think they come out and start off 1-0 within their division. You both have 30 plus. I'm going to stay away a little bit. I'm going to go 27 Eagles. I'll go 17 Commanders. I'll go 27-17. I was going to go 27-20, but I'm giving a little bit too much love to the commies there, I think. Again, all three of us already had the Trust Me Bro parlay.
Trust me, bro.
It's already
I did just like you guys. I had to look up who Juwan or Jermaine.
Yeah, you did.
I can't remember his name now. I got
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, man.
I started typing in Google,
I didn't know.
Juwan Johnson.
I was literally like,
Google that one.
I didn't want to say it. On Turf Talk, I didn't want to be like, Scotty, you know who that is? But Scotty brought it up. I'm like, thank God, because I had
I had
no
to
idea,
admit it, man.
Absolutely. But I had the Eagles winning. All three of us had the Eagles winning. And this is maybe somewhat of a statement game, somewhat of a Jalen Hurts is real, somewhat of a Jonathan Gannon is real. And we start to push forward into this stretch. And hey, man, they start off 3-0. The first 6-7 weeks of the schedule that we all looked at, like, man, could you imagine if they start off like 5-1? It becomes more and more possible as the schedule opens up. So exciting game. Gonna be weird. We didn't even talk about that really. Gonna be weird watching the Eagles go against Carson Wentz. We haven't, he's been out of our minds for a bit. He's in a different uniform, but haven't had to go against him. So it'll be weird. It'll be fun. But let's go get an Eagles win. Guys, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. Check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. We're on every social media platform you can imagine. And check out the TeePublic because there is a brand new Eagles, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, the best design on the site, guys. I'm not going to front. I already ordered 2 things. Go check it out. You'll like it. It's got a mix of the old school logo with the new logo, and it's very, very cool. So with all that being said, head on over to the TeePublic site. We greatly appreciate it. Check my man Phil out at Beard and Knowledge on Twitter. My man Scotty at Scotty Drown. You can find me at DylanJD98. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and go Birds.
Go Birds.